Welcome to Frax Check, your weekly Frax vibe check. I'm your host, Capital K, and I'm joined by my co-host, DeFi Dave, and our producer extraordinaire, Mr. Sam. And we will be going straight to the source of truth via checking the chain. But before we jump in, please gently, lovingly tap that subscribe button on the flywheel because we need you to get to our march to 10,000. Also, please subscribe to our Substack from flywheeloutput.com and follow us at Flywheel DeFi on Twitter and Telegram. This week, boys, I call this week Up Only.
Let's
Mostly.
go.
Let's go.
Mostly Up Only week. As the name suggests, this week things are bumping and it feels good. And
Feels good, man.
It feels good. And for the Frax Check, as always, we're going to jump right into our flagship product, the Frax stablecoin. And here we have a nice itty bitty bump of about 1%.
Just a little bump.
Just itty bitty bump. It's like a nice 10 million bump. So I like that. Good to start. The next slide, we'll talk about the peg as always. And it was kind of bumpy this week. To be honest, look at how jagged that is. We got to a high of 1.03 and the low as 998. So which is quite interesting. But obviously we had to go into the market and check it. So we swapped 100 million of Frax for USDC and you received an exchange rate of 9988. Freaking strong in my opinion. Next slide, we'll talk about the collateralized ratio and the decent, which is kind of topical because it's the topic of conversations now. And we have a little bump of 30 bips to 92.3. So I guess it's moving one way. And then on the right hand side, we have the decentralization percent. And that's been pretty much stagnant for the last, I don't even know, like 6 Frax Checks or so. So that's kind of where we are. Nothing new here, but I do want to go on to the next slide where we have our Frax BP TVL of almost $540 million, up 1.7%, up only. Say it with me, UPONLY. Oh yeah. And on the volume side,
UPONLY. Oh yeah.
And on the volume side, we have 40 million monthly volume, and February is not over. We still got a week left. Just for context, January had 12 million volume. Okay, so we lapped it a lot. All right, 1 second, Sam, and then here. On the next slide, we have a yield and bribe section where I break down what the yield looks like. So we see here the APR is 2.66%, which translate roughly to about like 550K for a pool of this TVL. And for that, Frax paid 271K in bribes. Now, what's interesting is this 271K spent incentivized $731 in liquidity. So said differently, for $1 of bribe, we got $731 of USDC liquidity, which is quite rich.
Does this change a lot week to week? I know we talk about it week on week, but I forget what it was last week.
It's been creeping up. Frax's been pretty much paying the same while the TVL is growing.
That's good.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. But also we've been pumping, so the APR is still the same, even with the increase in TVL. So I don't know if in the parallel universe where we are not bumping, if we're able to do this. But anyways, for the month of February, we paid 562K in bribes. And we incentivized $352 on a monthly basis. So here on the next slide, you'll see.
Hey.
Ta-da!
Oh, wow.
Finally. Oh my God.
Finally.
The last time that we're ever below
I hope so.
Pre-pool TVL, right?
Oh, Jesus, like look at that. Like that's just pain. Let's see. We go all the way back to September 13th, guys. Like that's just pain that we've been in, just waiting. There was a moment where I lost hope in November right there. And then I'm
That was
glad
the bottom.
that was definitely was the bottom. I'm pretty sure I called that episode Max Pain. So anyways, let's just take a moment and rejoice. But guys, as always, getting to the top is much easier than staying at the top, right? As evidently previously, where we rocketed for 2 weeks and then we died. So let's I'm not jinxing anything, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. Um, anyways, as a reminder for the meta pools, TVLs, these are pools being paired against the base pool, and an example is like LUSD, Frax BP, ALUSD, Frax BP, and on the next slide you'll see that we hit. Oh shoot! Sorry. Before that, here's the breakdown of the 3 pool in the Frax BP and the Frax 3 CRV. As you can see, the interesting thing this week is that Frax BP only gained like about 9 million in TVL, but the 3 pool lost like over 25, 30 million in TVL.
Whoa.
That
Repeat that.
Yeah. So
Frax pool
yeah,
gained, and then 3 pool went down by
dropped
way more.
a lot.
Yeah.
Way more. Way
like
way
two
more.
and a half times more.
Yeah, 2.5 times more. So people are choosing to go in stables, but choosing the Frax BP stables,
That's pretty good.
the super
That's nice.
stables.
That's what we want to see.
Yeah,
Super stable.
yeah, that's what we do want to see. And Frax 3 CRV chilling out at 550 mil. I wonder when that's all going to get migrated over. You know what I mean?
Eventually,
Like,
we'll see.
yeah, eventually. But anyways, like I was mentioning earlier, we have some meta pools data for you here, and these are the stable pairs of the meta pool, and we are at a nice crisp $80 million for the week, and represents a 4% bump from last week. As you can see in the graph, we once upon a time hit that 9-figure golden frontier, and we're chasing our way back up there. But we were there so briefly that I don't even remember. So hopefully we'll hang out there much more next time. And as always, on the next slide, I'm going to take a look at some yields and some bribes that we paid for such yields. As you can see here, that the ALUSD pool is still paying out 7%, as compared to last week's about 10% or 11%. But the note thing here is TVL went from, I think, 18 million all the way to 46 million. So it increased like about 30 million ever since, I last talked about it on a week ago. So I'm glad you guys are paying attention and getting after that nice sweet yield. Appreciate that. Another interesting observation here is, tell me if you guys notice one centralized exchange stablecoin missing from this list.
Binance.
BUSD.
Correct, DeFi Dave and our producer extraordinaire Sam. It is Binance US Dollar, BUSD. Basically lost 90% of its TVL over the last week or so. And if you're a Binance believer out there and a CZ lover, and you think there's a chance, I think it's a great spot to be to earn some outsized returns. It's pretty high APR right now. I'm not going to talk about it, but if you guys do the homework and go see yourselves, it's quite nice.
You're not going to give away that alpha on here.
Yep, no. I got to let them do something. But for the current bribes that we paid for these meta pools, we were actually quite freaking amazing. We broke the 2K mark, meaning for $1 spent, we incented $2,000 of meta pool TVL. So remember, guys, these are other tokens paired against the Frax base pool. So I'm not including the Frax BP TVL in this. Only the pure TVL that's being paired against the base pool. And as you can see here, we spent 40K and then we got 80 mil in TVL. That's where the ratio comes from. For this month so far, we spent 90K and got about like $900 in liquidity. I mean, pretty good ROI in my opinion.
Yeah.
All right. Just a quick reminder, stable pairs are not the only pairs that could be paired against the base pool. And as you'll see on the next slide, we have
Wow.
an increase of 38% on non-stable pairs.
Wow.
So shout out to all the non-stable projects out there seeking some nice juicy liquidity for their community. So again, say it with me. UPONLY. Oh yeah. 38%.
UPONLY. Oh yeah.
Okay. Can we do some technical analysis on this chart? So it broke out above all-time highs. It pulled back to the previous all-time high, and now it's continuing its next leg up.
Oh, I love that we're
Price
TAing.
discovery.
Price
TVL
discovery.
discovery.
It's in TVL discovery. It's in TV. Dude, you heard it here first. TVL discovery. It's in TVL discovery right now. And plus, there's a ton more to go, right? If you think about it, that's only 100 million in TVL on base pools. So we have like another 400 to be paired against. So come get it. Come get it. As always, I take a look at the yield and the bribes we paid for the meta pools on the next slide. And you see here, Ohm in the Frax base pool has been PG chilling at 38% for the last, like, I think 3 Frax checks. So if you're in this pool, like, you're earning some really consistent yields. Granted, it is a little echo bubble we have right now, so you might not want to be stable. Because Ohm has been like about $10 this whole time. So I mean, at least that's that for the 4 million folks, for the 4 million of TVL that's in there. And for the non-stable pairs, as you can see, we have even greater liquidity to bribe ratio of almost 1 to 2.5K. Let me say that again. For $1 spent in bribes, we have 2.5K in liquidity.
Wow.
Bang for your buck.
That's really good, actually.
Bang. Dude, that's phenomenal. I really think, okay, I have an idea for what to write for a Substack article for us. I just got an epiphany here. Make sure you guys subscribe to that too, by the way, flywheeloutput.com. But anyways, and that is where we are at for the meta pools. I'm going to give you guys a nice summary slide here on the next one. You'll see that we have, again, like I said, hit past that 9-figure meta pool TVL at 102.3 million, up 10% from the last week. And guys, you know what else is up only all the time? And what else also passed
100K.
100 number? The 100 number has been ringing this whole thing, and that is the Frax ETH, baby. We passed 100,000, and we are at 100,967 Frax ETH.
Wow.
That represents a 6.3% bump from last week. And guys, this is awesome, right? This is awesome to see this, and we've been kind of covering Frax ETH for quite a bit now, and it's just so good to see a graph that looks like that. You know,
That graph is insane.
That is insane graph because it's not even slowing down.
Yeah, no, it isn't. Surprisingly
TVL
to me is
discovery.
like, I see the percentage. This is in TVL discovery mode. But the interesting to me is like, we percentage wise, we are slowing down a bit. I've noticed it for the last 3 Frax check. We went from like, 10, 8 to 6. But nominally, I think we're still growing at the same clip. That's why you see it, still vertical like that. Now, I do want us to hit some exponential growth. I wonder if there's like this inflection point where we really just explode. Is there a catalyst point for that, Sam?
Probably Shanghai. I mean,
Shanghai.
Yeah, Shanghai has to be Shanghai.
I mean, that's coming up in like a month, right? Give or
Yeah,
take.
because everyone who's like staked, will be allowed to unstake, and they'll have choice and agency on a choice that they may not have had before. And so with this new option presenting itself, it seems like the most attractive option. So I think after Shanghai, might not be immediately after Shanghai because of those withdrawal times, but maybe like 3 to 6 months. It'll probably be still like a slow grind, steady but slow grind up. Maybe not so slow, but we'll see. Maybe like around Shanghai because of that news, a bunch of ETH just gets dumped in and deposited. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think the goal would be to have over 1 million ETH staked by the end of the year.
End of the year. Yeah.
Yeah, end of the year. Yeah. I think
Wow.
we were just talking about pools, and they're starting to see like everything else is starting to grow, right? 22% up on the week. Last week it was about at 4,000. Was there any idea about like where that Frax ETH is going?
Dude, I like just Frax ETH, right? Just chilling Frax ETH. I have no idea. I have no idea where they are.
Probably in
And
like Velodrome or in Athena.
Oh yeah, like all the stuff that's on BSC or something. You know what would be interesting is have you guys heard anything about like a Frax ETH Frax base pool pair?
Yeah, that was rumored or like hinted at in our Curve Cap interview.
Yeah, it's kind of like the next big thing that should come, right? Because if you're wondering like where can you, or like a tri crypto pair, right? So once we get Frax BTC, like
I think like the Tri Crypto pair is the holy grail.
yeah, that's gonna be really dope.
Frax ETH, Frax BTC, all in one basket for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or can you have like a quadruple pair with a FPI on there too? The
Yeah.
Frax stablecoin pair.
Yeah, that would be great.
The quad crypto pair.
Quad Quaaludes.
Or just like somebody should make like an FPI stake Frax ETH pair, but I just don't think you could get gauges for that, right? So like a Frax ETH Frax base pool pair would definitely get a gauge, but stake Frax doesn't get gauges.
Yeah, but FPI might give you some FPIS love. So you might get some gauge there. But that was a little alpha drop for those that listened intently. But anyways, but as Sam so astutely pointed out, there's a drastic increase in folks just chilling in Frax ETH, which I have no idea where. And
Frax ETH and chill.
I do want to point out though, guys, like you see there's now a divergence between SFrax ETH and the Curve LPs. But what is interesting is the APR is still pretty much the same on both sides. So I think Frax is at a point where if they want to decrease that SFrax ETH kind of target, they need to crank up the bribes a bit because we're hitting the cap numbers. You know, that's yeah, for the bribes, because we're paying basically 7.7% for a convex AMO or the convex pool, and then 7.4% for the stake Frax ETH. So it's like it's getting to a tight spot. But yeah, anyways, as always, Frax ETH is a stable coin, so we got to check the peg. So on the next slide, you'll see here that the peg is pretty much as good as it can be. You know, like I'm feeling giddy this episode. I don't know about you guys, but 0.9999 for the listeners at home. We are 0.0001 away from being flat Frax ETH to ETH. But as always, you know me, I'm a stickler, and I got to go into the market and check this. And with the largest Frax ETH holder, which holds 3,500 Frax ETH, if they were to come in and smash the pool, and look at that, it is still just 0.9984. It is a very, very strong exchange rate. I wish I could do the same for a Steth, the largest Steth holders, and see how the curve pool holds up. I'll try to work on that. And then
done that for UST back in the day.
You just read my mind, Kiet. I was thinking that while you were saying this, I was like, well, I wonder what Steth is. I wonder what RETH is. Actually, no, RETH is like always above.
Yeah, I mean, Steth is the person, because in my mind, is it bad that I already envisioned us flipping RETH and like Lido's the only real game that I'm thinking about. And then just quick snapshot at the TVL here. We have 140 million in TVL for the curve swap pool. And then on the next slide, as Sam just showed you, we have the market share landscape. And I switched it to using the DeFi Llama instead of our boy Structures Dune Dash, because DeFi Llama includes Coinbase wrap staked ETH. And I just wanted to loop that in there just in the off chance that, Coinbase is forced to have all that unstaked, and those users will now have a choice, as DeFi Dave said. And we do wonder where they would go. But you see here that Lido is still the absolute dominating player in the space, owning 73% of the market share. But Frax ETH owns only 1.4%. So a long march to get to where Lido is, though we are growing at 46% on the 30-day change. So we are pretty much 1.5xing in 30 days. Hopefully we can keep this up, but like I said, we're getting to a fairly large size now that I think that might be a bit more challenging. But let's see. I definitely remain hopeful, as Frax ETH seems to be the product that everybody's loving. But one area that Frax ETH is already dominating is in the yield department. As you will see on this slide, we are offering a nice and sweet 7.4% to all the SFrax ETH stakers out there. And the closest competitor is Stakewise, offering 5.2%. So, I mean, I would imagine in a free market, people would just flood over here to get some of this Frax ETH yield. I don't know. Maybe it's just really not being able to withdraw thing, but also they're liquid, right? You could just swap it for another, swap it for ETH and just hop in here. So I don't know. There's some friction here for sure, because it's been this way for the last 4-6 Frax checks, that Frax ETH is just paying magnitudes more than the other competitors.
Yeah. Did you put in the can we go back one, right? Oh, you did here.
Yeah.
I just think the most amazing metric about all of this is just the growth, right? 30-day change. So we've done 50% almost in 30 days, which is incredible. It's incredible.
Insane.
1.5xing every week. 1.5x. You know? So like I did the dirty math, and if we were to keep on 1.5xing and Rocket Pool stays the same, we would flip Rocket Pool in like 4.5 months.
Yeah.
So by summertime.
That's my birthday treat is flipping.
Oh yeah,
Rocket
yeah.
Pool.
We talked about that. Okay. Nice. Dave will do something.
I'll do something.
Put in the
Paris.
comments. Put in the comments. What would you like Dave to do in Paris? DeFi Dave in Paris. It's gonna be a music video.
Round 2.
Anyways,
round 3. Yeah, go ahead.
Round 3. Let's move on to the Sam's favorite product. Everybody can guess it. It is the F to the P to the I. And we see here that the FPI supply is at 82.2 million. The inflation, the annual inflation index just got updated to 6.3, previously 6.4. And the FPI is now actually over-pegged by almost 1%, because it was pegged to the 6.4 previously. And now it's going to have to do some of its mechanics to get rid of that excess, probably flow back to the treasury. And speaking of treasury, it is at 87.7 million, clearly way above where it needs to be for the Frax supply, for the FPI backing. And that,
actually, can we? I'm just gonna drop this here, right? Can you see this?
Yep.
Let's do some balance sheet review, right? I actually got some feedback from one of our Frax Check listeners who said that one thing that we're not doing is leveraging the balance sheets enough. And I just want to point out one thing, right? So let me just zoom in here, right? So this is up to date as of when we're recording this, which is 5:07 Eastern, like as of this block, which was just
as a block. Yeah, I was gonna say
1 minute ago. As of 1 minute ago, we have full and complete transparency into where FPI is right now, right? So these numbers that you're seeing right now are like less than 1 minute old. So we can, and the point that he was making was that no other protocol or no other company in existence has had such clarity into its balance sheet. And that's only possible because one, Frax has everything on chain, and actually two, also Frax has everything on chain. There's no off-chain assets.
And three,
yeah,
Frax has everything on chain.
Frax has everything on chain.
Yeah.
So we can.
But also fourth, Frax has everything on chain.
So we can have complete transparency into what's happening for the protocol, and we can say definitively that we have like $5 million in excess profits, which we'll figure out with the FCR how much will go back to FPIS. And I think that this is just, it's so incredible, right? So we can see like how much of where the FPI is, how it's distributed into the different pools, right? So most of FPI is in the FPI Frax Convex LP. You also have the FPI token balance, but majority of it, 78 millions in the Convex LP. And that gives us liabilities of $87 million, or asset
asset.
No, sorry, liabilities down here to FPI is that. And then we have this excess, right, of the controller pool, and then all the other assets. So really interesting to see how these balance sheets are going to change. And
it sounds like a new standard.
Yeah, before you change, I want to also highlight the reason why Frax is able to kind of do the balance sheet like this for FPI is it's still, frankly, the least complicated product in Frax's suite of products. So I'm glad that they started immediately with some transparency, disclosure, and reporting at the center of the product.
They have the balance sheet for Frax ETH as well.
They do. So Sam, if you want to go into the Frax ETH balance sheet real quick, just to show the people how to check that.
Yeah. So we also have Frax ETH balance sheet here. Do you want to do it in ETH or in dollars?
Let's do it in dollars just to keep it the same.
Or ETH.
Oh,
guess,
right?
No,
so, ETH is important. Yeah, you're right.
So there's 17,610 Frax ETH in the treasury. The Frax Minter has 541 Frax ETH, and then the Beacon chain has 82,984. So the Beacon chain is already what's staked. The treasury is that 10% that's been held back for the Frax ETH pair. And then I'm not sure what the Minter is. So it's ETH held within the Frax ETH Minter. Okay. And then we have liabilities. So we have on-chain assets of 101,136. Then we have liabilities of 101,062. So there's a positive excess
70.
of 74 ETH.
Yeah.
So really cool to see. But if we go back to going back to FPI, right? Another cool thing that we can see is the revenue month on month. And I actually just found this out. So for February of 23, as of like right now, the last block that this was taken for, we have excess profits, we have a profit of 88,848 plus 52,608 unclaimed rewards, which gives us a total income. Does that match? Of no, it's already been calculated out. So there's 88,000 excess profit from FPI, which is great to see.
Yeah, I mean it's working. Let's just say it's working, and with the inflation coming down, it's actually very helpful for the treasury, because the treasury is going to outpace the inflation no matter what. Hopefully, no matter what.
And that's kind of like the virtuous cycle with FPI as well too, is eventually like you hope that your treasury gets big enough where the interest on the treasury then starts to kick over back into VFPIS, right?
Yeah. That's the goal. Like we mentioned, this is Sam's favorite baby, so make sure you guys pay attention to FPIS. But on the next slide, you'll see us talk about the Frax Lend product. And we saw a pretty nice bump in TVL here. I think we went up almost 30-40 million in TVL over the last week. What's surprising is the borrowed stay pretty much flat. Okay. And that led to a decrease of decrease of 5% to a 77% utilization rate. And the utilization rate is simply how much was borrowed divided by how much is available to be borrowed. All right. And I like to use these two graphs here on the bottom to kind of symbolize, or rather as a proxy for the confidence and adoption in the product. And you see the collateral, the supply value, which are people putting in their Frax stablecoin into this pool, is just kind of up and to the right. it's been pretty much stagnating around like this $65 million mark for the past a while now for like a month. And then on the collateral value, you see people are just constantly dumping into it ever since the beginning of this month. So you kind of like to see the graph going up and to the right as far as possible. But yes, that is our Frax Lend product. And on the next slide, you'll see some of the pairs comparison that I did. I sorted it by supply APY high to low, and the Geom and Frax is actually at the tippity top here with a nice supply APY of 8%. And if you want to, help the DGens out there to get even more long CRV, go ahead and drop some Frax into that pool right there, earning some
Let
8%.
DGens be DGens. They,
yeah,
they want to lever up. Empower them, DGens.
Empower them. Or if you want to go for that pristine S Frax ETH collateral at 6%, you can hop on over into that pair. I may or may not be in that pair. May or may not be in that pair. Say that again. And as you can see, I am very happy with the Frax Lend product so far. I think it's going to keep on getting better and better as more, because remember, these are just the pools that are made by the Frax team. The vision is still kind of to have this thing be really permissionless and have anybody come up with any pair that they want, like term sheet like. So if you didn't get to catch that episode where we did with Drake Evans, please go and watch that episode where we kind of dive really deep into what Frax Lend would look like and what Frax Lend will be after. So please go check that out. And to complete the DeFi Trinity stack, we have the final product, which is the Frax Swap. And as I always say, for the decks that nobody talks about, it's bumping. It has 73 million TVL, up 7% from last week, processed over 200 million in monthly volume this month. That represents a 285% turnover utilization rate. So, I mean, this is the most efficient decks I've seen, I feel. I've yet to see any decks out there that has the volume outstrip the TVL by this much. Have you guys, like Sushi, Uni, and any of those guys?
Well, I think it's been good because the Frax shares and FPI trading has been good, and we've seen huge price increases, and I'll be interested to see what happens once we get more pairs added, and also integration into stuff like Gamma Swap as well too. But it's nice to see Frax Swaps starting to get
Gamma Swap.
Yeah, get integrated into everything.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I just feel like this is just a deck that literally nobody's like, hey, I'm going to go to Frax Swap and do some swaps. Like, I've never heard anybody say that.
It's the FXS DCA machine.
Yeah. It is the FXS DCA machine. You just put it in there and just don't think about it.
$1 million in depth at 2% each way. You can't beat it.
Yeah. Each way.
Each way.
Yeah.
You want to talk about size? That's size right there.
Yeah. I wish there was this product where I could like just put Frax in like the stable coin into across all the lending pools, and every say month or so pull out like 5% of that stack and just DCA into Frax Swap automatically for me, so I don't have to just sit in Frax the stable coin while I wait for the DCA machine. I can be earning yield on that Frax while waiting for the DCA machine.
That's interesting.
I bet somebody could.
Condition.
I bet somebody could build a product where, like, think about
Cameo.
like Abracadabra, right? So Abracadabra was like you deposit your LP tokens and you get back like mem, and then you can go leverage up, right? But what about like an Alchemist style thing where you deposit like Frax Space Pool, and then over time it swaps it into stake Frax ETH, right? And so like eventually your collateral is you could probably even, I don't know, there's a bunch of ways to do it, but that would be really cool. I wish there was a TWAM for going from Frax to stake Frax ETH, but I'm not there yet.
Oh, dude, that's actually a great idea because people would love to DCA into ETH, right?
Yeah.
And
It would be conditional, multiple functions, because then you have to swap your Frax for ETH, then stake it for
yeah,
Frax ETH, then stake your Frax ETH for S-Frax ETH. But
yeah.
that would be a good product, just all in one click, go from Frax to stake Frax ETH.
Mm-hmm.
Over X month or your choice, you know.
Yeah. I think I mean, there's probably more that can be done. I mean, like, I think one of the things that could be done in Frax Swap is like swapping over the WETH pairs to Frax ETH pairs. That would be interesting. Maybe that's a governance proposal that needs to be done.
Oh, like convert the entire WETH into Frax ETH?
Yeah.
I think that'll come eventually.
I think that would require a lot of bribing for the folks. Because those people are already in Frax Swap, right? So therefore they trust the Frax product suite clearly. So maybe they wouldn't take that much to swap over, but that could be a very interesting. It's almost like vampire attacking WETH in a way, you know. Yeah, that's a
Out
good
with the
thought.
WETH, in with the Frax ETH.
Yeah, out with the WETH, guys. And anyways, let's get into the meat and grits of it all. We're gonna look at our profitability, and we always start by seeing what we have in our AMOs. So this week we saw a nice cute little bump of 60 bips, but regardless, up only still. And the biggest change came from the liquidity, which I think gained about 3 mil, and the investor also gained about 3 mil. So that's kind of where we picked up our 6 mil from last week, which is, again, like I said, not bad. I count it as up only. And the profitability is now in question. And remember, I said mostly up only in the beginning of this. So I warned you on the next slide. You'll see that we are at a little bit of a negativity point at minus 580K for the month of February so far. But that's because we just paid for a bribe. So we didn't get to reap that benefit yet. I think we paid yesterday, I believe. Yes, that's right. So because of that, we're now having to, well, frankly, wait until we earn all of that bribes back. Hopefully, we would get. I think we'll probably land somewhere around here, negative 500K for the month of February as well. But again, this is still great. And this is not factoring in the revenue from FPI either, right? This is just the convex AMO revenue. So that's kind of where we shake at. Sorry to end in such a low note, but I needed to keep us grounded still. This is the facts, and we're paying
It's
to
just
play.
great to see. Yeah, I mean, doing these things week after week, you really get a sense of the state of the market. Because it's like one thing to see sentiment online on Twitter and whatnot, but it's another thing to see the numbers and to see that valley of the Frax base pool where it's 80%, 70% only of the free pool, and then all of a sudden just catch a bed on the TVL and go up, and now it's over that. I think we definitely hit bottom, unless something else, God forbid, happens. But I think it's just we still crab, but we crab up.
Yeah,
exactly.
I want to see Frax, the stable coin, ramp up a little bit too, because obviously Frax ETH has been getting all of the love and attention lately, but I feel like the Frax stable coin, I kind of want to see that bumping up as well.
I feel like that love will come either at the middle of the year or towards the end of the year. Like right now, LSDs are having their moment, and they'll have their moment, and so Shanghai. And then after Shanghai, I think you're going to go to stablecoins. And don't you find it ironic that there's a whole China coin narrative before Shanghai? Like who wrote that in the script?
That's actually quite funny. And dude, talk about a blast from the past, right? I see like all these coins like Neo, Qtum.
People just want something to pump at the end of the day. Like literally, it's just like people always have money to like throw around if they really want to, and they're just like looking for some excitement, and they're just throwing it at these China coins. And it's funny because, Frax has a China community as well. Frax has had a China community like manager since it's the beginning. I believe his name's Kevin. Yeah, if I remember. And like it's there. And I wonder how Frax can like take advantage of like, that, since that narrative's a thing now. How do you get the attention of the East? I guess like DeFi Cheetah, I assume, is from that side of the world. So it's definitely getting attention over there. But like, I wonder like what else like could be done. Probably like a Frax meetup in the East, which we're setting up.
I think Frax just needs to get integrated more, and it needs to be like a means of payment in the exchanges. So if you look at like the big exchanges have these like big OTC desks for China, right? So if you're going to buy Bitcoin or ETH or something like in China, you go through like OKX or Binance, and they have these P2P markets where you can like send some yuan to some guy in China, and then they'll deliver ETH to you, right? But typically the payments on there are usually like either Tether or like USDC or something, right? Mostly Tether. It'd be nice to see Frax like start to be used as a payment system within those venues.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
same.
That'll probably be the biggest opportunity for spot activity for Frax is, OTC trading. And it has the means to provide that kind of liquidity. It's just a matter of like getting the attention of these market makers and OTC desk. And there's definitely, an opportunity now with BUSD, being removed from the table. Like that's a perfect opportunity for Frax, or maybe even like there'd be Frax, or maybe have FPI pairs on Binance one day.
Yeah, we also need size institution demand, right? And we need some of these big size to come in and say they want it.
Yeah, and I think that's like a big thing around like Frax going up to 100% collateral ratio is Sam has said we want to be the risk-free asset. We want to be the safest asset on chain, and like the way to do that, is to be at 100 collateralized ratio. I noticed, Kid, on this episode, you did not say we want to see it down at 82%. I think it's just that
I wanted to.
That era is over.
I guess
Benito.
it is.
It's all good.
I guess it is. It is all good because maybe FXS can still catch a bid here. Maybe the A in AMO is actually AI market operations.
I mean
AIMOs.
AIMOs. Yo, you just coined that. I don't see why not. I mean, actually, that would probably require extensive testing, though. Like, I would like to see like AI used on like a small AMO, and then like see that would be cool. Like, have like AI powered AMOs, but like you would still have to trust the AI. Like, what if the AI like works? Doesn't work in the AMO's interest. What if it becomes like, fuck this? Like, I'm gonna just do my own thing.
Yeah, what if Monet Supply? What if Monet Supply comes and like gets the backend keys for the API, the AI API?
Oh yeah, that's true. Monet Supply just swoops in. All right, guys.
Chris Black can be up in our mentions. Like,
well, the thing, Chris Black isn't in our mentions because we say exactly like how everything's structured. We aren't trying to hide anything. So
yeah,
but anyways,
it's the Frax Check with the Frax facts. And
exactly.
DeFi Dave, would you like to sign us out, sir?
Yes, I would. And if you'd like to keep up with everything Flywheel Frax and everything in between, please hit that bell button. Subscribe to our Substack, Flywheel Output, where we gives out tons of alpha. Give out, where we give out tons of alpha.
Dole it out.
We dole it out. Dole down the reg because we love you guys. And if you love us, please follow us on Twitter at Flywheel DeFi. Join our Telegram group at Flywheel DeFi. You can follow me on Twitter at DeFi Dave 22.
Follow me at 0xcapital_K.
And I'm at traders_insight.
And we'll see you next week.